Hi, welcome to a new video on estimating the volume of soil needed to prepare for planting in a yard for grass. So this doesn't need to be real precise. There's quite a bit of leeway in the answer, so we'll just give a rough estimate here. It says you need to add a 3-inch thick layer of topsoil in order to plant a new lawn on the property pictured here. In the lower left corner, there is a scale for you to use to estimate the dimensions for your calculations. It says let x be 32 feet for this problem. So this scale right here is 32 feet from this point to this point. It says also please note that I used a ruler and marked some key lengths that were x units long. This is something you will want to do for yourself as well. So I just put a ruler up there, and notice it's not exactly X. This is just kind of an estimate that I did, and I marked it here, then I marked there and there. And so all along this side of the yard, it would be 1x, 2, 3, and maybe a quarter or a third. So maybe 3.3, whatever x is, and this is 32 feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the area of the whole rectangle, and then I'm going to subtract off this, this house area. I'll estimate that area, and this driveway area. I'll estimate those two areas, and subtract that from the this total area in the yard. So another way you could do it actually is to break this area up into different sections as well. You could calculate there's one big rectangle here, you could do a little rectangle here, that's 2, there's 3 rectangles, and maybe you can kind of estimate this as one long skinny rectangle too. So 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangles. What I'm going to do is we have this big one, and then I'm going to estimate this house, and I'll kind of include this in it, and then this driveway. So let's get started. As we go along this side again, I'm going to note that it is, okay, let's see here, the color here, I think I'll use orange. Going along this side from here, there's 1, 2, 3, and maybe a 0.2 or something, I'll say, or 0.3, maybe 3.3. So this is 3.3 times x, right? X is there. But x is 32, so that's 3.3 times 32 feet. So I'll calculate that. And so 3.3 times 32 is 105.6 feet on that side. And then this side along here, from here to here, it looks like 2, right? That's already marked. So that's 2x's times 32. That is 64 feet. That's not very good. 64 feet. That's supposed to be feet. And this was 105.6 feet. Something's blocking that. Okay, feet here. So anyway, what's the area? This would be the length, right? And this would be the width, so we'll multiply length times width. So that area together will be 105.6. This is in square feet. 105.6 times the 89. So sorry, times 64. And that is 6,758.4 square feet. 6758. I'll just round it off to just 1 square foot. So that's an approximate area of the whole thing. Now, if we take the house out, if we subtract that area, so let's find the area of the house, and I'm going to estimate that. I guess I'll do this whole chunk here, and see, this would probably fill in about what that little region would be. That should be cut off there too anyway. So that's this little section and this little section seem to be about equal. So if I take off that, that's this whole side along here is about 1.2 x's. So I'm going to call that, this is supposed to be house, 1.2 x's, or 1.2 times 32. And that is, that's 38.4 feet approximately. And then the width, the length, boy, okay, this is about x and maybe 1.3 to here, or 1.25. So I'll say that's 1.3 times 32. And that would equal 41.6. So the area of that house is multiplying those length times width, that last number times 38.4. 41.6 times 38.4 is 1597.44, so I'll just say 1597. We rounded the last one to the nearest square foot. And also I'm going to try and find the area of, that's supposed to be a U, of the driveway. Part of it's paved, part of it's gravel, so about here. And I know this chunk I didn't really account for, but let's just say, you know, it's not going to be that big a deal. We'll give it a big estimate here. So x is, this is almost a whole equivalent to x. I'm just going to say that's 1x there. So 1 times 32, that's going to be about 32 feet on that one. And then the width there is I don't know, that's less than half. I'd say it's about 0.4x. So 0.4 times 32 in this case. And 0.4 times 32 is 12.8. Okay, so 12.8 feet. And then if we multiply those, 32 times 12.8, we get 409.6. So I'll just say 410 square feet. So now that's kind of crude. No, you know, so we're going to subtract this and this from that original. So that total square footage would be that 6758 minus the 1597 minus the 410, and that gives me 4751. That's about 47, I'll just say 4750 square feet. Estimate that. That's an approximation. Now, this asks us to write the answer in cubic yards. So you're going to have to convert yards anywhere. By the way, you could have converted these 32 feet, you could have converted that to yards and done everything in yards in that problem instead of having feet. So this would have been just 30. All these 32s would have been 32 divided by 3 because there's 3 feet in a yard. You would have divided that by 3 and had a fraction all the way along there. And that would have been fine too. If you'd have done that all the way through, right, then that would have, all those units would have been in yards, and so our answer would be square yards. As it is, we didn't do that, which is just fine because this is really easy to convert. 1 square yard is equal to 9 square feet. That's the unit conversion factor for converting square feet to square yards. So we can take this and multiply it by, right, the 4750 square feet. If we multiply that by 9 square feet in the denominator, that will reduce out our square feet, and that'll give us square yards because 9 square feet is 1 square yard. So basically I can take this number now at the end and divide it by 9. And that gives me about 527 point something, right? About 527.7, so I'm going to say about 528. Oops. Something happened to my drawing. Let me get that back up again. Yeah. That is 528 about. 528 square yards. And now I've only got 3 inches of topsoil. So now, if that's in square yards, I want to change that 3 inches to yards. So 3 inches to yards, we're going to have to convert that by going 1 yard over 36 inches. So our inches will cancel. And 3 over 36 is just 3 over 36, or you could reduce it to 1 over 12 yards. And so we're going to take the 528 square yards times the 1/12 of a yard. Those are square yards times yards is going to give us cubic yards. So 528 times 1 over 12, or just divide by 12. And that gives me about 44. I'm just going to approximate that to 44. Okay, so that's that would be my approximation for that particular problem. Okay, I hope you found this helpful.